My question relates to when you're dealing about the concept of synchronicity and getting out ahead of it and being open and intuitiveness, how does something as mundane as planning fit into that concept?
Right. No, that's an excellent notion. It's part of the duality that I was speaking about when I quoted Jung and about you're doomed to make choices. I think it was Spinoza once said that life is what happens to you while you're making other plans. And I remember Marianne Williamson once saying that God's plan works, yours doesn't. And all you have to do is get in sort of collaboration with God's plan, so that you do your planning and you set your goals and you do the things that are all seem important to you. But the key word is detachment. That's what I talked about in one of the earlier principles. It's always detachment, that you are not attached to the outcome. And remind yourself that if in your attachment to what it is that you think you would like to do doesn't materialize, it doesn't work out, you just you accept it and you move on and remind yourself that God's plan is working. Yes.
Sort of piggybacking onto that, how do you make a decision about things like lawsuits? If you're faced with an issue and a lawsuit is a possibility, how do you decide if it's something you just move beyond or pursue?
You let go. You let go of the outcome. And if you insist on staying in it because there's a question of what you believe to be right versus what somebody else believes to be right, you work very hard at detaching yourself from all of the details and all of the information. In other words, you hire a very competent person who incarnated here to do those kinds of things, a lawyer, whatever. And you tell them that I don't want to hear any information that will weaken me, that will make me unhappy, that will bring me anger, that will bring me fear or whatever. You just keep all of that from me. Your job is to deal with this and to go after what it is that you believe, to fulfill whatever it is, wishes you have. But you detach yourself from all of that. You go through your days being in a state of peace. And you tell him when he calls you, you only give me information that will strengthen me. I don't want anything that will weaken me. And you can do that. It's really quite simple. Yeah, there always will be some kinds of conflicts that will arise that you won't have agreement with someone else. But that's no cause for being depressed, miserable, unhappy, fearful, anxious, stressful. You just don't have to go there in your life. And I have lots of practice at that in my life. And I get better at it as I remind myself that I don't have to be attached to any of that. And when I have had some disputes that involved legal issues, I have told my attorney just exactly what I'm telling you now. I do not want you to call me with details that are going to be upsetting, whatever it is, even if it's going to cost me money. Write the check and keep me out of it. You go through your life and you don't have to have all of that. Any other thoughts or ideas? Yes?
Based on what you were saying yesterday, does that mean you try to love the person you're suing at the same time?
That's absolutely crucial. Truly it is. It's surrounding them with love. And most of the time, when you're able to do that, when you're able to surround them with love, you can make it go away. You'd be surprised how often, well, you remember the story of Ruth Carrico that I read, while she was, what could be more hateful than that? And she was practicing loving someone that was trying to kill her. And it's the lesson of our greatest spiritual teachers. If we want to call ourselves people who are devotees of the greatest spiritual teachers who ever walked among us, we have to practice what it is that their lives were and what they were teaching us. There's a part of us that wants to be right, that wants to make everybody else wrong, that wants to judge others, that wants to believe that I am superior to others on the basis of how much stuff I have, or how much education I have, or what religion I happen to practice, or where I happen to live, on which side of the boundaries. That part of us is not treasuring our divinity. That is the ego. And while I don't think that it's very possible for most of us to ever completely get rid of this ego, as long as we're incarnated into a human form, I do believe that it is possible for us to tame it and to make it less of a dominant force in our lives by no longer having such an important role placed on being right and making other people wrong.